She's Russian, and Russians are inclined to look on the dark side of things.
All right, I am a Russian, but a friend of mine, a Russian, died from stomach ulcers.
Now, don't be absurd, Miss Polikova. Mr. Kirby has just a little indigestion, that's all.
All right, let him wait.
How would you take a seat, Mr. Kirby? Everything is comfortable. How are you finding your business conditions? Do you find that we're quite well out of the depression?
Well, I suppose so. Of course, it all depends.
But you think conditions are going to get better? They're going to keep improving?
Yes, well, it's a bit more complicated than that. You see, the industry is now operating at 64% of full capacity. Now, that's against 84% in 1925, and of course in 1920.
It is very hot. You usually escape all this hot weather up in Maine, don't you, Mrs. Kirby?
As a rule, I had to come down this week, however, for the flower show.
Mother wouldn't miss that for the world. That blue ribbon is the highest spot of her year.
Oh, I won a blue ribbon once at a flower show for raising onions. Remember, Alice?
That was a garden show, I said.
Oh, yes.
I think she'll be all right. Has Donald come back yet?
No, he hasn't.
Oh, well, he shouldn't be any time at all. I'm afraid you must be starved.
I didn't know there were little children in the house.
Oh, no. This is mine.
Well, I guess every man has his hobby. Or do you use it as a model of some kind?
Oh no, I just play with it.
I see.
Maybe it would be nice if you had a hobby like that, Dad, instead of raising orchids.
Yes, I suppose so.
Oh, do tell us about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. You know, some of them take 6 years to blossom. Imagine that.
Actually, some of them take longer than that. You know, I have one coming along that I've waited 10 years for.
That reminded me of my favorite joke. Believe it or not, I was waiting for an orchid.
Yes. Well, of course, during that time, they required the most scrupulous care. No, I remember a bulb that I was particularly fond of.
Did you get everything, Donald?
Yes, ma'am. Only they didn't have frankfurters, so instead I got pickled pig's feet.
Never mind all that attention, Donald. Mr. Kirby, do tell everybody about your orchids. I know they'd love to hear it, and excuse me.
So, Mr. Kirby, raising orchids, it must be an expensive hobby.
Well, you know, I find that if something gives one sufficient pleasure, then it's really not expensive at all.
That's very true.
No, I need something like that to relieve the daily nerve strain. After a week on Wall Street, I'd go crazy if I didn't have something like that. A lot of men I know have yachts for the very same reason.
So why don't they just quit Wall Street?
How's that?
Oh, I was just joking.
I think it's necessary for everybody to have a hobby. Of course, it's more than a hobby to me, but my great solace is spiritualism. Spiritualism is good.
Oh, now, Mrs. Kirby, everybody knows that's a babe.
To me, Mrs. Sycamore, spiritualism is, well, I'd rather not discuss it with you, Mrs. Sycamore.
Now remember, Penny, you have one or two hobbies of your own.
Oh, yes, but not silly ones.
I don't think it matters what the hobby is. I think what's important is that you have one.
To be ideal, a hobby must improve both the mind and the body. The Romans were great people. Why? What was their hobby? Wrestling. In wrestling, you must both think quick with the mind and act quick with the body.
Yes, but I'm afraid that wouldn't be very practical for the most of us. I wouldn't make the best showing as a wrestler.
You could be a great wrestler. You are built for it. Look!
Mr. Kirby, they're broken.
Oh, I am sorry, but you will of course not wear glasses next time when you wrestle.
I'd better sit down, Father.
Miss Kolonkova, how could you do such a thing? Why didn't anybody stop her?
I think perhaps if you don't mind, we'd better be going.
Mother!
No, Mrs. Kirby, please don't go. Mr. Kirby, I've ordered some scrambled eggs for you and plain salad. Oh, please don't go.
I'm sorry if I did something wrong, and I apologize.
Miss Kolonkova, please. If I had been here.
Oh, it's quite all right.
Of course it is, Alice. We're not going.
Well, that was exciting for a minute.
So, Mr. Kirby, we were talking about your orchids. Do you raise many different varieties?
Oh, I'm afraid I've quite forgotten about my orchids.
I can't tell you how sorry I am, Mr. Kirby. If I had been here.
What did I do? That was so terrible. I threw him on the floor. Did it kill him?
Miss Kolonkova.
I'm sure dinner won't take any time at all.
Oh, would you like some of these freshly made candies I made?
Oh, I'm afraid my doctor doesn't allow me to have candy.
Oh, but these are nothing. Just coconut and marshmallow and fudge.
Don't ask me.
Miss Alice.
Miss Alice!
What is it, Rita?
The eggs fell down the sink.
Quick, make some more.
I ain't got it.
Yes, I don't have some. Tell him to hurry. There'll be a little delay, but everything will be ready in just a minute.
I certainly put all of you people in a lot of trouble with my stupidity and all.
Not at all, Tony.
Oh, look, why don't we all play a game of some sort while we're waiting?
Will that be fine?
Mother, I don't think Mr. and Mrs. Kirby.
I have an idea. I know a wonderful trick with a glass of water. But I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Kirby will love this game. It's perfectly harmless.
I'm afraid I'm not very good at games, Mrs. Sycamore.
But any fool could play this game, Mr. Kirby. All you do is write your name on a piece of paper. Mother, I'll be sure to love it, Alice. Here you go, Miss Kolonkova. Write your name on this piece of paper. And here you go, Alice. Do the same.
Mother, what is this game?
Oh, I used to play it in school. It's called Forget Me Not. Here you go.
Thank you.
Now, I am going to call out 5 words, just any at all. And as I say each word, we're going to put down the first thing that comes into your head. Is that clear? For instance, if I said grass, you might put down green. Just whatever you think of, see? Or if after I said chair, you might put down table. It shows different people's reactions to things. And you see how simple it is, Mr. Kirby?
Come on, Father, be a sport.
Very well, I should be happy to play.
You see, Alice, he does want to play.
Well,
Now, is everybody ready? Ready. Now remember to play fair and put down the first thing that comes into your head.
I understand.
Is everybody ready? The first word is potatoes. Potatoes. Everybody ready for the next word? Bathroom.
Mother.
A bathroom. Everybody got that? Go ahead. All ready? Lust.
Mother, I don't think that word is very...
No, you mustn't interrupt the game.
Can you give me that last word again, please?
Lust, Mr. Kirby.
This is quite a game, isn't it?
Grandpa, everybody ready? The next word is honeymoon. Everybody ready? The last word is sex. Mother, everybody got sex? And now everybody hand me your papers. Can I have your paper, Mr. Kirby?
What happens now?
Well, this is the best part. Now, I read out your reactions.
It's really quite the interesting game.
I knew you would like it, Mr. Kirby. In fact, I think I'll read your paper first. Everybody, I'm going to read Mr. Kirby's paper first. Everybody, this is Mr. Kirby. Potatoes, steak. Oh, that's wonderful. See how they go together, steak and potatoes?
Oh, I just happened to think of it.
Oh, it's very good. Bathroom, toothpaste. Well, lust, unlawful. Wasn't that nice? Honeymoon, trip. Yes. And, sex, male. Oh, yes, you are! Really wonderful game, Mr. Kirby.
You know, this is really quite an interesting game. It's like an experiment in psychology.
Yes, it really shows how your mind works. And now we'll see how Mrs. Kirby's mind works. I'm going to read Mrs. Kirby's paper next, everybody. This is Mrs. Kirby. Potatoes, starch. I know just what you mean, Mrs. Kirby. Oh dear. Bathroom of Mr. Kirby.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow that, Mary.
I just thought I'd make a connection with it. After all, you are in there a good deal, bathing and shaving and, well, you do take a long time.
I hadn't realized I was being selfish in the matter. Go on, Miss.
Lust, human.
Really, Miriam?
I just meant that lust is, after all, a human emotion.
Lust is not a human emotion. I don't agree with you. It's depraved.
Very well, Anthony. I'm wrong.
Mother, this game is rather silly. Suppose we stop it.
Yes.
No, please go on, Mrs.
Now, where was I?
Oh yes, honeymoon. Honeymoon. Dull.
Did you say dull?
I just meant that hot springs wasn't very gay that season. All those old people sitting on the porch and nothing to do at night.
Yes, well, that wasn't your reaction at the time, so I recall.
Father, this is only a game.
A very illuminating game. Please go on, Mrs. Sigmund.
Oh, the next one's all right, Mr. Kirby. Sex, Wall Street.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know, nothing.
But you must have meant something, or else you wouldn't put it down.
It was just the first thing that came to mind, that's all.
Yes, but what does it mean? Sex, Wall Street.
I don't know, Anthony. It's just that you're always talking about Wall Street. Even when you and I are... I don't know what I meant. Would you mind terribly, Alice, if we didn't stay for dinner? I'm afraid this game has given me a headache.
Yes, perhaps we'd better postpone this dinner a little while.
I understand, Mrs. Kirby.
Oh, but you're still coming tomorrow night?
I'm afraid we have another engagement tomorrow night.
Maybe we should postpone this affair a little while
I think we're being very ungracious, Father. Of course, we'll stay for dinner tonight.
I have a very bad headache, Tony.
Come, Tony. I'm sure everyone understands.
Well, I don't. I think we ought to stay.
Don't, Tony.
What?
We were fools to think it would work. It won't. Mr. Kirby, I won't be in the office tomorrow. I won't be there at all.
Alice, what are you talking about?
I'm sorry. Very sorry, my dear. Are you ready to go, Miriam?
Darling, you mustn't mind this. It's been very nice meeting you all.
Yes. Lovely.
Are you coming, Tony?
No, Father, I am not.
Very well. Your mother and I will be waiting for you at home. Good night.
Good night.
See, right where you are, everybody. Don't move.
Oh, good heavens.
What is this?
What is all this?
I demand an explanation.
Keep your mouth shut. Which one is it?
This is him.
What are you doing? Oh, why? What do you mean?
Grandpa, what is it?
This is an outrage.
Shut up! What's your name? It's Edward Carmichael. I haven't done anything. You haven't, huh? This is all rather high-handed. What's it all about? The Department of Justice.
Oh my goodness, gay men.
What have you done?
I haven't done anything. What's the boy done, officer?
What is it? What's it all about?
That Darlington cellar?
Yes, it does.
Yes. Now, Jane, take a look upstairs and see what you can find. I haven't done anything. Ever seen these before? Yes, they're my circulars. And you print this stuff, huh? Yeah, but I don't mean anything. And you put them into boxes of candy to put them into people's homes?
The love trees!
Yeah, but like I said, I don't mean anything. You don't, eh? Dynamite the Capitol, dynamite the White House, dynamite the Supreme Court, God is the state is God. Yeah, but I don't mean anything. I just like to print. Don't like Grandma? Officer, the government is in no danger from Ed here. Printing is just his hobby. He will print anything. You will, eh?
I've never heard of such nonsense.
Well, I'm not just going to stand here.
Let me
You
get
know
my
what?
pipe! Let me get my pipe!
Shut up, you. We were right. We've got enough gunpowder down there to blow up the whole city.
But we only use that. Keep still. Everybody in this house is under arrest.
Okay, printed!
This is all nonsense.